Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Mr. De Roy. I was just asking you some questions prior to the break about scriptures. I just want to, like I say, explore or suggest to you that would you agree that in the absence of having some comprehensive expert input into what scriptures you might give a person after they had been the victim of abuse, that it could have a serious negative impact upon a victim?
Saying the wrong things,
yes,
could have an impact like that.
Yes, yes. So, would you agree then that it is really important for you as an elder to, if you are going to use the scriptures, that they be incorporated into some program that takes care of the person not only ecclesiastically but emotionally, physically, psychiatrically, in all ways? Do you agree with that?
I really don't know perhaps where you're coming from there. I look at the scriptures that we use for comforting ones when they go through tribulations and situations like this. The scriptures, Philippians talks about the comfort that we get from the scriptures. So then using the right scriptures after listening and how they're feeling, and perhaps trying to help them readjust to Jehovah's way of thinking from God's word, that they didn't know themselves, and just reinforcing what they already know can actually help them to heal.
Yes, well, firstly, you would agree that they would have to be the right scriptures and the right response to a particular individual, wouldn't they?
You've got to keep the individual in mind. Yes.
Pardon?
Yes, we've got to keep the individual in mind and use the right scriptures.
But what I'm suggesting to you is that of itself, well, firstly, I'm suggesting two things. Firstly, that of itself, just the scriptures alone, would you agree, are just simply not enough to deal with how a victim may feel?
You could be very right there. I would agree. I'd agree with that.
So that it would be important to ensure that they were aware of the existence of counselling, aside from counselling and support from trained people.
It would be good for them to know that. Can I just say that would be then something that the individual would have to decide. I'm, as an elder, I'm trying to give comfort from the scriptures that will help them to be fortified in dealing with what they're going through, helping them recall things that they have learned in the past, or examples that will actually help them. So cope with the stressful situation and the feelings that they have.
But for example, with BCG, you didn't at any time encourage her, did you, to go to a counsellor or some outside assistance, did you?
No. That I can recall.
And I just want to point to two. Do you recall in the investigative committee meetings that BCG was in fact counselled against talking about her, the abuse upon her?
I don't recall that.
Perhaps if the witness could please be shown Exhibit 29.9, the investigative report notes. I think it's exhibit. Sorry, I'm going from the exhibit list. Yes, and notes investigative committee. If you look, please, at page 11 of those notes. If you go down to the bottom of page 11, you see that on the 17th of June 89, there's a meeting with BCI and BCG, and BCI being BCG's mother. Do you accept that?
Right, yep. Yes, I can see that.
If you just go over to the next page, please. Do you agree that up the top there it says that counsel given on confiding matters of family to congregation members, and you used articles and scriptures were used within the meeting? And that counsel was also given to BCG also of the same matters using the above articles?
I think that's correct.
So do you agree that she was counselled about speaking about this issue?
On keeping it confidential, we would have encouraged them not to speak to others about that at that particular time.
And if you go, please, over to, perhaps it could be taken to do you also agree that she was told, in fact, through the course of that meeting, not to speak to her husband about it at the time as well?
I don't recall that at all.
Okay. Sorry, I'll just find that. Okay, perhaps if you could go, please, to page 16 of the notes. Page 16. Sorry, I'm trying to find a reference up the top here. It doesn't seem to have a page number.
The next page.
Oh, sorry, 17. It seems to be 17, or a note that's before page 17. So over to the next page, please. Oh, yes, sorry, here. So if you could have a look at those notes, do you agree that that it says to counsel, and there was a capital M under BC, under where it's redacted? Well, there was that is a reference to BCG.
Right, yes.
On talking too much to too many others, including writing letters to friends about situation. And then it goes down and it talks even to family, talking of family matters. And it says a name there, and I don't want you to say the name. And it refers to 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 13. And do you agree that that is in relation to gossiping and meddling? That chapter?
Yeah, I would like to look at the scripture, but yeah, I take that that's the case.
So do you agree that BCG was in fact effectively told not to discuss these matters, even to her future husband?
I cannot recall those things, so...
But you accept that those notes were taken at those meetings? Yes. And would you also accept that that is an example of the danger of a scripture being given in isolation to a person who has been abused? That telling them to be quiet about it may have a very negative impact upon them.
The way I see it and understand is that confidentiality is so important for the person involved. That not everyone knows of what has happened in the congregation. As the elders, we know, and we can continue to give her the comfort. But as far as confidentiality for the person, I looked at that as always being very important for the person as well. So that if she wants to say, if the person involved wants to say things, well, they're going to do that.
But do you not agree then, I'll put it this way, that she might feel silenced by the reference to that scriptures?
She may have.
So that's what I'm saying to you. Do you not agree that that might be have a very detrimental impact upon someone if they felt that they could not speak or talk to others about the trauma that they were experiencing?
See, talking though to everyone is very different to talking to ones who are going to give a help to what's going through. So not everyone then is going to be able to be encouraging and say the right thing. So I think it's just looking at it from saying, all right, who's going to actually be of help? Those in the best position to help are the ones that really know all the situation of what she's gone through, and perhaps she has a close friend. But as elders, we have that to shepherd the ones in that situation. So,
yes. Do you believe that you would benefit from specific training of how to apply your scriptures in dealing with these matters internally? And I'm not suggesting that be done in isolation from other counselling, but I'm just for you alone.
Look, I look back over the time, and I can see the training, like for me, that I have received through all our schools, the updated information. That has most probably, if you're looking at hindsight, I have a lot more training now and more understanding now than 25 years ago. Back then, I had training, but of course not tertiary training, but training in using the scriptures at that particular time, which was good training at that time. But now I look back for my own self, I am now equipped with a lot more information, a lot more understanding, and a lot more direction that I can avail myself on, that most probably is a lot better than back then.
Just on another point, you, in your statement at 6.1, it's indicated that you couldn't make a conclusive finding about the allegation in your committee meetings because it was one person's word against another, and she was informed of that. In fact, you informed her of that, didn't you?
I'll just explain from my memory and my understanding. When our initial judicial meeting, when it wasn't conclusive, but we had evidence for disfellowshipping the father on the grounds there of loose conduct and lying, then there is a 7-day time for appealing that. We encourage ones not to. We keep confidentiality on that. No one knows the reason for him being disfellowshipped from the congregation. You are given 7 days. So as far as me saying anything to anyone, no. Confidentiality dictates that we don't.
So just on this point, the point I'm making is that she was told, wasn't she, that the reason for disfellowship had nothing to do with her allegation because it was not established by you and the other elders.
It was not established at that first meeting, but I don't ever recall saying that.
Well, if you have a look at the investigative notes, it's referred to in the investigative notes. If you have a look at, at those the investigative notes, and it's at that's 29.9, and that is page 15, or the 15th page. I don't know whether it's numbered. Sorry, it's a page before. Oh, actually, it must be 14A, perhaps. If you could scroll down a little bit. It's got there, if you could see just down the bottom there, it says, tell BCG of decision to disfellowship on grounds of loose conduct and procedure to take for reinstatement. So she was told, wasn't she, that it was the grounds were other than the grounds that she had complained of. Do you accept that?
It's written there. I can see that it's written there.
So do you accept that? It's really a simple...
No, I'm trying to be very honest in what I'm saying. I'm looking at a page where it could have been at that time. I really can't, from that page, say that, or whether that is then part of the notes. I cannot answer that.
Well, BCG has also stated that she was told by you at page 52 of her statement, and you were taken to it before, so I don't want to keep going over covered ground. But she also stated that he was being disfellowshipped for loose conduct and not for what he did to her. So you would agree that would tend to support, those notes tend to support what BCG has said, don't they?
It tends to support that, if that's the case.
Yes. But do you agree that the impact upon a complainant of being told that their offence has not been established in accordance with Jehovah's Witness principles, would you accept that can have a very damning effect on a victim? If they're a devout, or a victim of Jehovah's Witness, a devout Jehovah Witness, as BCG was?
I think under the circumstance, she would have been very upset that the father did not acknowledge what had been done.
That's not the question.
No,
That's not the question you were asked.
Okay, sorry. You
Thank you.
better repeat for me.
Yeah, the question was that do you not think the impact upon a complainant, that the fact that a complainant has made a complaint of serious wrongdoing and she's been told that hasn't been established in accordance with the judicial committee process, what I'm suggesting to you is, do you not agree that can have a very damning impact upon that victim? Because they've been told essentially that the processes set in place by Jehovah's Witness, the Jehovah's Witness process, do not accept her complaint. Do you accept that?
I can understand what you're saying.
Do you agree
yes.
with me?
Yes, I can understand that.
And do you agree that therefore would highlight some area that needs real change in your processes?
Look, I would welcome any direction that would make it better. I welcome that very much so.
Because I just want to ask you on that point, how do you reconcile a situation, for example, where you might believe a complainant such as BCG, but yet it's not established. How can you really act to support BCG in those circumstances if it's not really established according to the processes and policies set in place or set down through the scriptures and coming out as processes for Jehovah's Witness elders to follow? How can you reconcile that? Do you know what? Sorry, I'm not making it particularly clear. I'll try again.
No, that's right.
How can you
I understand.
reconcile the fact that on the one hand you have a complainant who is believed, for example, such as BCG, but on the other you have, because the wrongdoing is not established in accordance with the Jehovah's Witnesses scriptures, how can you then turn around and support the complainant? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I don't understand how saying that we're supporting the complainant. I don't know.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you don't accept that a wrongdoing is established, where is your authority or right to then turn around and support a victim or a complainant? How do you reconcile those
How do I reconcile?
factors? You've got an unproved complaint.
Yeah, Dr. Jason Morrison, theologist again. I just want to say thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you got plenty of self-rediscovery and freedom out of it. If you watched it on YouTube, please share or like, maybe even comment. If you watched it on Facebook, like, comment, share. But most of all, get out and live. This isn't a rehearsal. You've got a one-off life. Don't let your loyalty and your faithfulness blind you to the life that you should be experiencing. Till the next video, thank you for watching, and bye for now.